Hope it saved. Okay, you can see the pan's still a little bit hot. We turned it down, but
Very hot.
it's alright. That cold oil is going to cool the pan down just a little bit. So you got a pretty generous amount of oil there. That's a pretty big piece of meat that we're going to go. And some of the flour is going to soak up some of this oil as it cooks. Now we replaced all the lids. She washed her hands, and now we're gonna pull out some flour.
Where do I put that? Have some big spoon.
Massage that in gently, and then pat it. No, just let what sticks sticks. Mr. Hand here is going to get some help.
Whoa. Whoa.
Sideways.
Lefty's no good for you.
That's my right hand.
The flour needs to be on all sides too, because it helps to make the gravy. Sizzling. You just want to brown it real quick, not really cook it.
Wash your hands a lot while you're making this meal. See, we got that temperature riding at about 325 right now, but that was a little over hot.
I'm turning it up to 4. Now that the meat's in there, because the meat's kind of frozen.
This is helping to seal all sides by searing and therefore sealing in more of the tasty goodness. So we end up getting a little flour, a little bit burnt along the way, but it doesn't really affect the overall taste when we get done.
Careful when you do this, especially when it's...
Take a look and see how we're looking. You know, pretty good. You can see most of the fat areas of it start to get kind of toasty, and the other is at least brown. So we may turn it again later, but none of it matters really. It's going to get cooked in the end. Even that flour that may appear to be a little bit uncooked is going to get done in the cooking process.
It makes the gravy.
Over here we have some beef bouillon. This is a pretty good one. You can use different kinds of stock or bases of different kind, bouillon cubes if you want, but we like to use this stuff because this grainy stuff has got a lot of good flavor in it. There's some other stuff on the market that's 3 times as expensive, that's really moist, but it doesn't really seem to make that much of a better roast. We find this to be economical and delicious. Its mix is 1
teaspoon to a cup.
Yeah. Look at that. Right up there, see? Delicious beef broth. Dissolve 1 teaspoon Norby paste flavor bouillon in 1 cup of boiling water. We've been doing this for a while, so we might not measure it exactly. It doesn't hurt that. You want to just make sure you got enough. Gonna put in there about 2 cups of water. Just gonna make sure there's at least 2 teaspoons in there. If not, maybe even a little more.
I'm gonna dump more than 2 cups of water in there. I just want to make sure it's kind of seared on this side also. And it looks pretty good.
Looking good. That's going to help deglaze the pan just a little bit too. Get all those goodnesses that were burnt onto the pan to break loose and become part of the sauce.
I want this water to go about halfway up the roast.
So in this large electric skillet, we're at about 4 cups of water to this size roast. Doesn't look like it's half, looks like about...
But when it starts boiling, it'll come up to half. That's not all the water that's going to happen in here anyways.
Oh, okay. More water coming.
Well, as it cooks off, you keep adding water. That's what makes the gravy. This has little lumps in it.
Since we didn't pre-mix it, she's kind of making sure there's not big lumps in there. And I'm just gonna flavor that. That's 2 or 3. There's darn near a tablespoon. That's about 2 tablespoons in there. That's enough for about 6 cups of water.
But you never add more of this. You just keep adding water.
Yeah, but we're gonna be adding a lot of water to this, and you know, like I said, that's the broth recipe. When this ends up being gravy, usually you have to make it a little bit stronger. So it's going to get the flavors of the onion powder and garlic and seasoned salt and black pepper plus this base, and then later on the vegetables that are going to cook in here with it is going to add flavor too.
So it's starting to simmer. So for right now,
we brought that up to a simmer, damn near a boil, so we're going to turn it down. Yeah, hard to read that thing.
About 200.
So now we're going to kick it down to about 200.
Oh, what is that? 250.
250.
It'll end up going down to just under 200, and after it gets going good.
We're going to see a very mild boil when this comes along. Going to be hard to see through the steam, but we'll try to demonstrate.
Well, we can lift that up. But we want it to go like this for just a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe a little lower.
that base in there has to dissolve some too.
And you just let it cook for hours and hours and hours. 4 to 4.5 hours usually.
So this is just going to put along at this lowered temperature that's set around 225, 250. It's going to barely simmer. It's still simmering a little faster than it should, but we're still adjusting the temperature. It's going to come down. And then we're going to leave it for about 4 hours. We're just going to add a little bit of water to it. We're going to keep an eye on it, and maybe every 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to add a little water to bring it back up to the level that it began at. And then that's about it for now.